how Knoxville is helping residents stay warm during this winter storm.
And reactions to current government actions through Venezuela.
And an excursion that gave some journalism students an invaluable experience. Welcome back to TVC News. I'm Aubrey Curran.
And I'm Molly Polkawalt. We start today with some breaking news from Market Square.
This morning there was a protest organized by East Tennessee high school students in opposition to ICE agents in school. Our Grayson Thatcher is live in Market Square talking to people involved.
Now we're here in World's Fair Park where there has been an anti-ICE in Knoxville schools protest this morning. It started at 9:30 and lasted until about 11. Now we got here and we were able to speak with a few people who attended the protest. Now one of them was an aunt and her niece. Now the aunt decided to pull her niece out of school today to be able to attend this protest that was fully organized by high school students. Now again, not as many people here anymore, but we spoke with the safety team as well. They said that there were 1,000 to 2,000 people here earlier today. Now they also said there were only about 3 counter protesters that showed up, but again, a lot more quiet now here in World's Fair Park. We're gonna keep an eye on things as the day progresses.
Yeah, some important information right there. Thank you, Grayson.
Yeah. Winter weather has hit Tennessee hard this week, whether it's here in Knoxville or in Nashville. Many students and their families have been affected by this weather. Our own Caitlin Kirkpatrick is live from Cumberland Avenue with how this winter weather is affecting students here.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I was out here earlier this week and saw a lot of the ice that we did get on our sidewalks. Now, for some students, their winter storm hit a little closer to home. Their families in Nashville were dealing with power outages, missing work, and so much uncertainty.
There are a ton of trees around my parents' house, and my mom said that one night she heard what sounded like a gunshot, and she looked outside and a tree had completely split in half. That sound of the tree splitting was like all over the neighborhood for days, and she said it was like the scariest thing ever.
Lauren Zering, a senior from Nashville, says the ice and heavy snow caused damages across her neighborhood and made travel dangerous.
We have like trees in the road. They had to like send vehicles up to like our house on a hill in the ice to like remove the trees out of the roads.
Freshman Ava Macy says students from rural areas also face similar challenges.
I'm from a really rural area, so we don't really have like the road infrastructure or anything to handle big snows like this. It typically takes a lot longer to clear out like snow and ice and everything.
The storm also forced last-minute travel changes for many families.
We changed all of our flights. So if any of us were flying in towards the later afternoon of that Friday, we moved it to like 6 a.m. And good thing we did, because everyone who flew in later that night all had their flights canceled. All I wanted to do was get home and make sure they were all safe.
Even with conditions continuing to improve, students are saying that they will not forget this winter storm, even after seeing what their families are going through. Live on Cumberland Avenue with TVC News, I'm Caitlin Kirkpatrick. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and speaking of weather, Luke, what are we looking at for weather this weekend?
Yeah, guys, I'll tell you this. Snow in the forecast last weekend, snow in the forecast this weekend, and this is a completely different storm. So let's take a look at what exactly is going along East Tennessee here. You can see Knoxville in this winter storm warning, pretty much the entire east half of Tennessee in that winter storm warning. As you look at Oak Ridge and West, you've got that winter weather advisory. So definitely East Tennessee taking the brunt of this storm. Now, as we move on, we'll take a look at some current temperatures. 39 here in Knoxville, 40 towards the Smokies. A different situation tomorrow. We got freezing temperatures tomorrow, 22 degrees towards the Smokies. And as we talk about that snow, those low temperatures definitely increasing tomorrow. You may be wondering, what happened last week to that snow? Supposedly historic snow last week. I got reactions to that little snow and figured out why we had a little rain instead.
In the first week of classes for the spring semester, many East Tennesseans braced to take impact for what some on social media called a potential storm of the century. The National Weather Service at one point projected between 4 and 10 inches of snow across the region. But when the storm finally arrived, very little snow fell.
We didn't really get any snow. It looked like we were going to get like foot plus of snow, and I was really looking forward to it.
That left some students frustrated with the forecast.
They still get paid, no matter if they're wrong. I'm jealous. That's what I say. I say that I wish I could do a job where I could perform like that and still get paid the money they do.
And while students were disappointed, Heather Haley said East Tennessee forecasters did a good job predicting this storm.
People are going to say, you busted, you busted. I'm like, you can watch every single video I posted on Facebook last week. Like, you can go back and look for yourself.
Haley says there in fact was a good chance for snow, but the chances for rain quickly climbed and hit East Tennessee instead.
And so I was saying, yes, right now there is a good trend for snow in East Tennessee, but it's still too close for comfort. And within a couple of days, that rain line to some ice was right over East Tennessee. So obviously that's exactly what we ended up with.
She attributes the hype of the storm to social media misinformation and people not keeping up to date with forecasts.
5 days out, oh, the snow line is right over Tennessee. And then 4 days out, oh, that snow line's drifting north. But 5 days out is when people watch the forecast. I mean, I don't know how many comments I've seen that the forecast went from 29 inches of snow to 0. What a bust. And I'm like, the forecast never went from 29 inches of snow.
Haley said that while she and other East Tennessee meteorologists correctly predicted this storm, students do have a right to be sad they didn't get an East Tennessee winter wonderland.
I would say I wasn't surprised, but still disappointed. I like when we get snowfall.
I love playing in the snow. I love sledding. If it snowed a lot, I was going to go on an adventure around Knoxville, walk around.
Yeah, and maybe a chance to go on that adventure and walk around a snowy Knoxville. Certainly a chance yet again for some snow here in East Tennessee. We'll break it down, our chances, in just a little bit, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Luke. Freezing temperatures and icy conditions have forced class cancellations across campus. But for many freshmen, the bigger problem is access to food.
Yeah, that's right. For many freshmen living on campus, dining halls are their primary and sometimes only food option. When winter weather forces closures or limited hours, options become scarce. And without access to an oven or full-size refrigerator, students are encouraged to stock up on snacks and rely on non-perishable foods. University Dining Services says it actively adjusts hours when possible, but safety remains the top priority during severe weather. If severe weather occurs again, the best way to stay updated is by checking Vol Dining's Instagram @VolDining for updates. And with cold temperatures in Knoxville, warming centers were overwhelmed with community members seeking shelter. Our Grayson Thatcher went to Relaunch Warming Center, one of many working around the clock to meet the demand.
It's overwhelming. It's a lot of chaos, a lot of noise.
Director of Day Space Programming at Relaunch, Dustin Morgan, is in the midst of the chaos,
The numbers continue to grow.
helping dozens in need during these frigid temperatures.
Today, because it's so cold, and the last 2 nights we've went above capacity, we're trying to get everybody in that we can.
Relaunch Warming Shelter has switched their focus
And we're packed in here like sardines, and we'll pack them in deeper.
to just keeping people alive and safe.
We have someone right now that is looking at potentially losing both of her feet because she was outside when she shouldn't have been and got frostbite.
They are also facing several cases of pneumonia, leading to their decision to keep the doors open all day. Relaunch co-founder Sarah Matlock has been working 12-hour shifts doing anything she can to help.
We can't say that we just love them at night when it's the same temperature throughout the day.
That love also coming from the donation piles.
We still always hot hands, toboggans, gloves, blankets, stuff to keep them warm.
But warmth isn't all that's needed.
We need ponchos and like umbrellas and stuff.
With so many mouths to feed, anything helps.
There's no good organization to it besides just to get through another day and keep everyone safe, really.
Grayson Thatcher, TVC News.
Relaunch partners with CARM to provide 3 meals a day and medical care to those who need it. They also partner with several AMR responders to help with wound care.
Now, January 3rd became a day of significance for many Venezuelans when the country's leader Nicolas Maduro was captured.
Yeah, Maduro, along with his wife, were captured by their home from U.S. Special Forces. They were brought to America to face several charges, including drug trafficking and corruption.
The capture has received both good and bad attention over the past couple of weeks. But I spoke with 2 Venezuelan immigrants, Carlos Lopez and Jeffrey Marquez, and both say they're most excited for the opportunities to see their families once again.
26 years, right? 26 years. No, I won't be able to come back to my country because I'm political refugee. So I think my next time in Venezuela is going to be maybe in 10, 15, 20 years. I'm 49 years old. You know, when I came here, I was 32, and it was an incredible life. Beautiful wife, beautiful daughter. You know, a good job. I was there when the Venezuelan situation started getting worse, and I was the witness when the regime put more than 32 of my friends behind the bars. I was the number 33, so I have to flee the country.
It's so crazy because I did not get to live what Jeffrey lived down there, the oppression and all that. And that's probably why I feel the most grateful to live in the greatest country in the world. You see so many people now in this country speaking so negatively. And that's the beauty of it. You can say whatever you want to here. You can be for or you can be against it. And we're not being put in prison for it. Mm-hmm. That's what was happening in my country. You know, this is not an overnight type of thing. But what the United States has given us is hope.
And for us, hope means hope. You know why? I still having 17 friends, close friends in jail because their political ideas. It's incredible because we are living the life that every single person deserves. I would like to help everybody in Venezuela, help my friends, help my family. But I think the best way that I found to help the people is leading by example. And I'll always say this: Venezuelan is my nationality, but the United States of America is my home. Yeah.
Yeah, Carlos told me he's hoping he'll be able to see his grandmother one more time before she passes. He says she's getting around that time, and he hasn't seen her since he left over 26 years ago. Looking forward to hopefully some positive news in the future. It's a trip full of opportunity for students in the Big Apple, and several journalism students spent the first week of classes in New York City. Here's our Gail Fanning with the story.
So it was a business trip as well as visiting a really cool journalism spots around the city.
For 30 years, CCI has granted students 1 week in New York City, and senior Alexa Durbin took full advantage of the trip.
Just being there, I was very eager just to talk to as many people as I could, ask a question or two, anything that could pop into my mind.
By visiting companies like CNBC and the New York Times, Durbin and freshman Whitney Reamer applied their education outside of the classroom.
I would say that we were learning about social media even when we weren't going to the places. We were vlogging, we were interviewing each other. I know there were a bunch of Instagram takeovers, so that was super fun to get interviewed for those and kind of talk about what I was doing and what I was experiencing.
Durbin and Reamer spent the week reflecting on their roles as journalists.
How lucky am I that I just get to keep learning, and I'm only a freshman. I'm just going to keep gaining more knowledge. So it gave me so much hope and excitement for my future in journalism.
For Durbin, it means pathways.
There is no right or wrong way to end up where you end up in journalism.
And a recommendation to all UT journalism students.
UT has done a fabulous job at preparing their students for a big networking trip like New York and preparing for you just for life and career.
In Knoxville, Gail Fanning, TVC News.
Yeah, great opportunity right there. I've actually been on the New York trip myself. Can't recommend it enough. If you're interested in visiting New York City with CCI, you can contact Joe Stab or Michael Martinez to learn more.
The Lady Vols travel to Yukon this weekend to take on the defending champs. We'll take a trip back to the Lady Vols' historic win from a season ago.
And speaking of champs, Tennessee cheerleading brought some hardware home over winter break. More on their story when we return.
Hey Vol fans, we're so excited to be on the air to give you exclusive University of Tennessee content. But the coverage doesn't end with TVC News here on air. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at TVC News Now by scanning the QR code. You'll gain access to 24-hour news coverage of UT sports, news, and other related content, all made by students. No one knows UT like we do, and thank you for your support.
From the tiniest creature to the mightiest giant, every species shapes our world. Bees pollinate our plants, elephants keep forests healthy, and coral reefs protect our shores. When wildlife thrives, so do we. We all have a role to play in keeping nature strong. Together, we can protect wildlife and build a future where people and nature thrive. Find out how at wwf.earth/species.
Why is just a starting line?
For the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick, below the surface. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
It's been a cold week on Rocky Top, but Tennessee athletics have been heating up.
And one of those teams heating up are the Lady Vols. They'll travel out of conference this weekend to face none other than the defending champs themselves, the Yukon Huskies.
Nearly a year ago, the Huskies came to Knoxville and the Lady Vols picked up one of the biggest wins of the season. For more on last year's game, here's TVC sports reporter Sophie Starkey.
Thanks, guys. This Sunday, the number 15 ranked Lady Volunteers hit the road to face the number 1 team in women's college basketball, UConn. Now, that's a daunting task for pretty much every team. Luckily, the Lady Vols have successfully navigated this before. Last year, UConn came to the Food City Center ranked 5th, while the Lady Vols were only 19th. And in her first season as head coach of the program, Kim Caldwell delivered an 80-76 upset. This was the first time Tennessee defeated the program since 2007. And UConn also featured the number 1 WNBA draft pick in Paige Beckers. Z Spearman and Talasia Cooper both had major implications in that game. Spearman leading the team with 16 points, Cooper having the final basket of the night for the Lady Vols. Now, they have got a lot of makeup work to do after their loss at Mississippi State last night. Both those girls returning to battle this weekend, hoping to come home with that second win, but this time in Hartford, Connecticut. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sophie. UConn has not lost a game since that battle inside Thompson Bowling Arena last year. And if the Lady Vols want to do it again, like Sophie said, they're going to have to clean up some things from last night's game against Mississippi State. After a game earlier this week against Ole Miss was postponed because of weather, it was clear that the Lady Vols were out of rhythm. Shots just weren't falling. Tennessee shot 22 of 69 from the field, which is the Lady Vols' worst shooting performance in a game this season. And then to make matters even worse, over on the other side of the scorers table, the Bulldogs were on fire, shooting 48% from the field. Talasia Cooper led the Lady Vols in scoring with 19 points, and they'll need another big performance out of her Sunday against the number 1 team in the nation.
Now over to the men's. Tomorrow, the Vols return to Thompson Bowling Arena to face Auburn for the first time since the heartbreaking 80-78 loss to Kentucky. However, since then, the team has found some momentum over their road trip.
That's right, Charlie. It all started Saturday when the Vols traveled to Tuscaloosa to take on the Crimson Tide. It's been 4 years since Alabama beat Tennessee on the hardwood. However, this year presented a new challenge for the Vols. NBA G League player Charles Bediako, who hasn't played an NCAA game since March 2023, was set to make his return. True freshman Nate Ament was set up for the challenge, scoring a career-high 29 points and grabbing 7 rebounds, a performance that earned him SEC Player of the Week and, most importantly, carried the Vols past the Tide for a 79-73 win.
Huge win for Tennessee, Alexa. Next, the Vols traveled over to Athens to take on Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White's older brother Mike White and the Georgia Bulldogs. In another grueling SEC battle, the front court dominated the glass, out-rebounding Georgia 52-27, leading the Vols to an 86-85 overtime victory. The win gives Coach Barnes his 850th career win, placing him second amongst active SEC coaches, right behind John Calipari. The Vols will need to combine their performances from this week in order to beat an Auburn team who has also been on fire with a road win over the 16th-ranked Florida Gators Saturday.
Wow, lots of games, lots of things to look forward to, but we're going to switch it over from the court to the track. Both track and field teams received top 10 rankings in the first coaches poll of the season.
The women's team topped out at number 8, while the men's team came out on top, ranked number 1. This weekend, most of the team will be in Clemson, South Carolina, while a few distance runners will be at Boston University for the John Thomas Terrier Classic.
Now, ball fans know every word to Rocky Top, and the cheerleaders spell out VOLS at every sporting event, VOLS, but what they can also spell out is national champs. Earlier this month, our cheer team took those chants to the mat and brought the volunteer spirit to the Sunshine State at the 2026 UCA College Nationals.
Held at Walt Disney World's ESPN Wide World of Sports, Hundreds of cheer teams from around the country travel to represent their school and compete for the gold. This year, Vol Cheer finished first place in D1A game day and placed top 5 for the first time since 2012 in the competition's largest Division D1A co-ed traditional.
Now, I was able to sit down with the head coach, Chelsea Bowen, and hear all about how the team was successful this year. Take a look.
26, UCA College Cheerleading National Champions, the Volunteers of the University of Tennessee.
Time felt like it just froze for a long time. Just knowing all the hard work had really paid off.
What we do for our game day competition is truly something that we do all the time. The tradition behind it is what makes us so good at what we do when it comes time for us to put it onto the floor and compete. In game day, we kind of made a name for ourselves, and people are always like, Tennessee, the game day school, because we have in the past 8 years won 4 times.
You have to be relentless, yes?
Being able to go out there, compete, represent this school, like it's unreal and so special.
We had a ton of injuries this year that we hadn't had the past couple of years.
Before our traditional routine, we had a girl split open her hand like 10 minutes before we were about to get on the bus. So to just know that those people are fighting just as hard as I am, and to know that we were able to power through that.
I truly do think that it made them stronger, and it actually made it a little bit more special when we won because we had been through so much adversity. Our team bond has to be pretty extraordinary to be able to do the things that we do, and I don't think most people realize that.
I just remember at the very end of the routine looking into my teammates' eyes. I couldn't think of a better way to go out. It's just been the best experience of my life.
Just being a part of something bigger than myself and being able to be a part of the athletes and their journey, I'm just super proud of them.
While that marks the end of competition season, that doesn't mean our Vol Cheer team is done. You can catch the award-winning team tomorrow on the sidelines in Thompson Bowling Arena. And well, that's all for our sports report this week. Lots to look forward to, like we said. We're going to send it back over to the desk.
Yeah, a lot of great news we've got there, and we're going to continue to give you guys more news after the break. Coming up, we've got an ensemble of pitch-perfect performances.
Hey Vol fans, we're so excited to be on the air to give you exclusive University of Tennessee content. But the coverage doesn't end with TVC News here on air. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at TVC News Now by scanning the QR code. You'll gain access to 24-hour news coverage of UT sports, news, and other related content, all made by students. No one knows UT like we do, and thank you for your support.
We've been talking about getting some snow. Now let's talk about how much we're actually going to get here. This is actually yesterday's forecast, and I'm showing this to you because it's rapidly changed. 2 inches around Knoxville towards the Smokies, 7 inches around Gatlinburg. This is this morning's, about a foot in Gatlinburg, 4 towards Knoxville. So this storm really increasing, a lot of snow potential for Knoxville. We'll take a look at this storm. This was yesterday, and you can see this start to swoop up towards the southeast, picking up moisture. Now look at all of that snow. This is heavy snow right here towards East Tennessee and the Western Carolinas, as well as Southwest Virginia. So a lot of potential. East Tennessee taking a lot of the brunt of this storm. And we'll take a look at some Saturday and Sunday temperatures here. Look at this. Friday, 38 degrees. You're going to see some flurries as those temperatures start to dip into the high teens tonight. Saturday, cold. That's when you're going to see a lot of that snow. Sunday, not above freezing, but sunny, so definitely some snow accumulation. Now let's talk possibly marching to class Monday. I'm not sure. We're going to have to find out. Look at this. No chance of precipitation. Sunny. No more precipitation, like I said. High at 37, but definitely some snow potential. Regardless of snow, have a great weekend, Vols.
Thank you, Luke. I don't know about you, but I am anxious to see if we'll have class on Monday.
Yeah, I honestly am hoping that we don't. Agreed. I'm not going to lie.
Agreed. Well, Land Grant Films has received their 3rd Emmy nomination. This time it's time for a historical documentary called Baker for America. Directed and produced by Professor Nick Geidner, this documentary uses the late Senator Howard Baker's story to connect to modern politics. Despite the documentary being created with the help of several students, Land Grant is up against 4 professional organizations.
They always say it's an honor just to be nominated, but in this case it's really true. Like, we're going up against professional documentary organizations with full professional crews, and I think it's really a testament to our students and the work and effort and time and love and sweat that they put into these projects to be able to compete at that level.
The Emmy Award winner is going to be announced on February 14th. Good luck to Land Grant Films.
2 UT a cappella groups will be living out their pitch-perfect dreams in this year's ICCA quarterfinals competition. Our Celia Angel has the story. Take a look.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Bowl is a very inclusive a cappella group. We're not within the music building, but we are part of University of Tennessee.
For years, Revolution and Volt have been wowing the crowds.
Been in Volt all 4 years of college. I auditioned my freshman year. The only reason they took me on wasn't for my singing, it was because I could beatbox and their beatboxer was graduating.
ICCA is the biggest competition of the year, and these groups have been preparing for months.
The ICCA stands for International Competition for Collegiate Acapella. I've been a host for the ICCA quarterfinals in the South for as long as I've been here at UT.
So it's really nice to be able to have access to such a big place that can house so many audience members.
For marketing chair Carly, Vault means a lot more than just a group.
It's one big family, and I get to do what I love with the people I love.
One UT family, different backgrounds, but the same passion for music. In Knoxville, I'm Celia Angel with Vol News.
Now, the Center for Global Engagement office hosted their Spring Vols Abroad Fair this past Wednesday, giving students a chance to explore different study abroad opportunities. The fair featured study abroad programs through different colleges, majors, minors, as well as many international universities. Students were able to ask questions about different academic and financial options available to them.
Our purpose for this fair is for students to come here and see what's available, maybe talk to some professors from either their majors or minors or classes or whatever they're interested in doing.
For more information on programs abroad, students can visit the room 203 of the Academic Resources Building. And that's all we have for you for today. Again, another day of great news, and as always, we're going to wish you guys a great day, have a great weekend, and
go Vols!
Go Vols!
Hey Vol fans, we're so excited to be on the air to give you exclusive University of Tennessee content. But the coverage doesn't end with TVC News here on air. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at TVC News Now by scanning the QR code. You'll gain access to 24-hour news coverage of UT sports, news, and other related content, all made by students. No one knows UT like we do, and thank you for your support.